Okay, tonight we're gonna cook a Hawaiian whitefish called ono. Actually, the Hawaiians call it wahoo, but the Japanese name is ono. These are sold out of the freezer case in Costco. They're very low calorie, very dense, and very flavorful fish. We're gonna make a reduction of balsamic vinegar, and so I'm gonna get that started first. We're going to I'm gonna measure out about 1/8 of a cup. There's gonna be 3 of us eating, so that's about 1 tablespoon each. And of course, we're gonna log all of this as we go along, so that we can measure our calorie count appropriately. So a little bit of this, and the idea is just to kind of thicken it down. We're just gonna use it at the end when we put it on the fish. So we're gonna put this on the back burner on very, very low heat, since there's not very much of it. The back burner. And we're just going to let it thicken up. In the meantime, we're going to do some vegetable prep. So there's not much prep to be done for broccoli. Really, all we need to do for the broccoli is steam it. For these, I've already cut them lengthwise and in half. We're going to grill these with a little bit of seasoning on them. And then these tomatoes are going to be used just as a finishing top on the fish. Tomatoes aren't really your best choice for this plan because they have a lot of sugar in them, but 1 little tomato each for everybody is not going to be a big problem, and it's not going to be a deal breaker. But we're going to want to slice these very, very thin, like so. Okay, once we've got our tomatoes sliced up, we're going to start on the zucchini. Now, I know I've said that you should avoid oil, but we're going to grill these, and the last thing that we want is to scrape these things off the grill and not have anything to eat. So we're going to use a little bit of this. It's a spray-on olive oil. It says 0 calories. I don't know if I buy that exactly, but if it's 5 or 10 calories total for a meal, it's really kind of not a big deal. Just go up and down your stairs a couple times and burn it off. And that gives us just enough oil, again, so that these things don't stick. And you can use your finger and kind of spread this around a little bit. And then we're going to season these a bit. We want to use... So we have an alumni here who says that salt isn't necessarily a bad thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to compromise. This is Himalayan pink sea salt, which is part of the paleo diet. If you're familiar with that. I don't know why other sea salts aren't, but for some reason Himalayan sea salt is, so we're just going to go with it. But we're not going to go crazy with it. We're just going to use a little bit, grind a bit onto these. And when you're doing this kind of stuff, it makes a little bit more of a mess if you do it up high, but it spreads it out a lot more evenly. Black pepper again. And you can put as much of that on as you want. And then sprinkle it with a little bit of oregano. And some basil. And these are ready to grill. So these, when they're seasoned, are going to go in a grill basket. That also helps keep it from sticking to the grill. I've got the grill started already. These take a little bit longer, believe it or not, than a lot of meats. So I'm going to put this out on the grill right now, and I'll show the grill a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to steam some broccoli. I'm going to measure this out before we cook it. I've got my scale under this basket. It's hard to see. This is a steaming basket. Steaming vegetables is a really great way to cook them without any oil and with minimal loss of the nutrients that are in them. So I'm going for about 6 ounces total to be divided up between 3 people, about 2 ounces apiece. Don't forget that we've got the zucchini to go with it too, so we're definitely not starving ourselves. And this just goes right into this, which is filled with a little bit of water, and put a lid on it. And that goes over onto our stovetop. And this will probably need to steam about 10 or 15 minutes. Just make sure that you watch it carefully. You don't want overcooked broccoli. That doesn't taste very good. So the important thing with this Ono, before we grill it, is to make sure that it's very dry. Because part of the way that we're going to get away without using any oil is we're going to grill it on very, very high heat, which will actually burn little lines across it as long as we don't move it. We put it on the grill and we don't move it. We'll burn a little bit of carbon right onto the outside of this, and that will become our nonstick surface rather than having oil. Now we could also season these a little bit if we wanted to at this point, but we're going to do our seasoning after cooking. So these are going to come outside with me onto the grill. Over. They've got a nice char going on them. And these are going to go right down here on a spot on the grill that's clean and nice and hot. And we are going to not touch them again until we're ready to turn them. Okay, and then lastly we're going to cook up some brown rice, or I should say we're going to reheat some. This came from weekend mass prep. It's in a couple of very small containers, which makes it easy to measure out. And of course we're going to season our rice. We use a little bit of granulated garlic. Maybe more than a little bit. Everybody likes garlic. And this is some dried lemon peel. And again, both of these came from Salty Savory Sweet in Reno on California Avenue. All we have to do is put this in the microwave and reheat it right before we're ready to eat, and stir in our seasonings, and it'll be ready. Okay, so our broccoli's finished, and in order to season it, we're going to take a little bit of this. This is called ponzu. It's a Japanese citrus, and it does actually have, see the ingredients on here: rice wine vinegar, mirin, which has a little bit of sugar in it, but we're not going to use much, yuzu juice, yuzu zest, shaved bonito, and kombu seaweed. Shaved bonito is it's an extract dried from skipjack tuna and then ground up, just to give it a little bit of extra flavor. It doesn't really add any calories. The mirin in here is the only thing that has any at all. It says here 12 servings from this, 12 servings per container, and there's 5 calories per serving, and we're going to be using a lot less than a 12th of this bottle in here. So calorie-wise, we're talking 2-3 calories. And we just put a little bit of this on. And we mix it in. Optionally at this point, you can put some other seasonings on, something spicy, something salty. But just by itself, this stuff actually does quite a bit for your vegetables. Okay, so we're going to check on our fish. This is looking really, really good over here. And good, we've got a nice little char on these, but should be nice and tasty. So you see how easy that came up off the grill? Flip that over and we've got some nice grill marks on there. Before we take these off the grill, we're going to want to check it with an instant read thermometer. I would say our zucchini is probably done. So I'm going to turn this side of the grill off. And close this up, let the other side, we'll have dinner pretty much ready. Okay, so we're going to check the temperature of our fish. This is called a thermopen. It's an instant read thermometer. It'll give you an accurate reading within about 3 seconds of the internal temperature or something. So this is saying about 150, which actually is a little more than we want to go. 125 for the inside of a fish is usually about my favorite. So it might be a little on the dry side, but we'll fix it. And again, with our grill on high, the stuff should come off really easily. So now we're gonna plate out our food. And again, like I said, it's really, really important to make food look good. So we're gonna start with our scale, since we're all on a diet here. Okay. There's one piece of fish, weighing in at 4.8 ounces. These are all gonna be pretty close. Then we get to have a little bit of fun. So here's our reduced balsamic vinegar, and actually, a paintbrush makes a great basting brush. Way better than the ones you can buy in the store. Just don't use paint with it first. Always use a brand new one and wash it thoroughly before you use it. And then, here comes the funnest part of all of this, where we get to hit it with the blowtorch. Caramelize the sugars that are in the balsamic vinegar. Then we chop it with one of our little cherry tomato pieces and a little bit of dried basil. Fresh basil works too, I just don't have any. Back on the scale. Tare it. We add some of our rice. That should be about 1/3 of a cup. That's about 2.5 ounces. And then we'll add one of our charred zucchini spears and our broccoli. Forgive me for doing this with my hands. I just forgot to get the implements for it. And that's it. That's a stick to the plan dinner.